entitled, Ignorance is Bliss. So in order to get into this, we got to know who the two main characters are. Now, this is Old Testament, so I had to do a little bit of digging about who they are and when this took place in the Bible. So we have the two main characters. We have Balaam and Balak. Balak, not black, Balak. Balak was the king of the Moab people, which is interesting because last week we just learned about Lot and Abram. So Balak is descendants of Lot. Okay? This is going to kind of come into play a little bit later. So let's remember who he is. And then, this is very interesting. Balaam was a sorcerer known to curse and to bless people. Okay? So these are our main characters. We're going to go into Numbers 22. We're going to start with 1 through 6. I encourage you to read Numbers 22 to 24 to get a clear picture about what happens after this. But here we go. Then the Israelites traveled to the plains of Moab and camped along the Jordan across from Jericho. Now Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was terrified because there were so many people. Indeed, Moab was filled with dread because of the Israelites. The Moabites said to the elders of Midian, "This horde is going to lick up everything around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field." So Balak, son of Zippor, who was the king of the Moab at the time, sent messages to summon Balaam, son of Beor, who was at Pathor. I don't know about you guys, but when I start hearing all of those names, I kind of like, it loses me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. This is one of those times I wish Darlene was here. I should have asked her to do the whole map thing that she does. But stay with me, everybody. Near the Euphrates River, in his native land, Balak said, so Balak is the king, "A people has come out of Egypt. They covered the face of the land and have settled next to me." So all Israel's done so far, set up camp next to Moab. That's all they've done so far. "Now come and put a curse on these people, because they are too powerful for me. Perhaps then I will be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that whoever you bless is blessed, and whoever you curse is cursed." So we got a lot going on, but nothing going on. Israelites are camping out. That's all they're doing. Setting up camp. Minding their own business. Here's this guy, this king, who's like, "Oh, these people are way too big, and I've heard way too much about what these people do. So I'm going to go get a sorcerer, and this sorcerer is going to curse them." But this is what Israel is doing. They taking pictures. They getting ready to go to church. They don't know that this king is summoning a sorcerer to curse them. They living life. Got no clue. Meeting up. Gonna do Bible study. Let's do prayer. Let's get some food after this. They chilling. So, continuing in Numbers, they go to visit Balaam. He chilling, right? He chilling. He ain't even bothering nobody. The sorcerer was also minding his own business. But here comes this king, and the king is like, "Yo, curse them." This is what he says. "But God said to him, 'Do not go with them. You must not put a curse on those people, because they are blessed.' The next morning, Balaam got up and said to Balak's officials, 'Go back to your own country, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you.'" This is what stuck out to me. I have always been under the impression that sorcerers and witchcraft We're only talking to demons and evil things. I was quite surprised to find out that God knew this guy. And actually, like, the guy prayed to God, and God answered him. And God said, nope, don't go. And I thought that was very interesting, because that means that this sorcerer, though he's dabbling in curses and doing all this stuff, knows of God, knows of the God of Israelites. I found that to be very interesting. God told him, do not go. And Balaam was like, yo, I don't know much about God, but I know not to go against him. He said, don't go. I ain't going. Bet. But this is what the Israelites are doing. They talking, they doing whatever it is that they doing behind their back. Leslie's taking pictures, praying, celebrating, they're eating, they're having a great time. Israelites, just chilling. So now let's go see what else is happening with these two people. Sent more officials, because the first batch wasn't enough. And this time, these are distinguished men. These are princes of the land. These are important people. And he said, this is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Do not let anything keep you from coming to me, because I will reward you handsomely. And do whatever you say. Come and put a curse on these people. Homie just said, I don't care what God had to say about it. Do what I said, and I'll give you money. This is what Balaam says. Even if Balak gave me all the silver and gold in his palace, I could not do anything great or small to go beyond the commands of the Lord my God. So this is a sorcerer hanging out with some demons, but considers God his God. But then he says, now spend the night here so that I can find out what else the Lord will tell me. Pause, my friends. God already told him no. He already said, don't go over there. He already had his answer. But there's something new that was introduced this time. And that's the reward. And I find, me, myself, I can hear God's voice and be like, that opportunity is not for you. Say no. All right, cool, no. Oh, well, you know what? Instead of paying you $17 an hour, we can do $19. Oh, wait, God, are you really sure you don't want me to get $19 an hour? Why all of a sudden now are you questioning God's voice? You knew him when he said no, but you don't know him enough when he says an opportunity is not necessarily your opportunity. This is a man, a sorcerer, who has seen the spirit realm, but he's kind of playing games with God. And this is what happens when you're a half-stepper. You know of God. You may talk to God. But because you don't know God, you don't have a relationship with God, you don't realize how serious God can be, especially about his people. And so you wind up playing with something that you really ain't got no business playing with. All because someone says, I'll reward you. All of a sudden, the reward that you're going to give me is better than the reward I will receive in heaven. So, we have three types of people now. We have Balak, going solely off what he heard. That's it. No one told him these people were coming after him. No one told him that he was in danger. No one told him that these Israelites were going to come and destroy him. All he knows is that these people are more powerful and therefore could destroy me. He went off of his own fears. Nothing was happening to him. Nothing was happening to his land. He didn't hear the Israelites were gathering an army. This right here, I don't know if y'all see it, anxiety. This is what anxiety looks like. It's irrational. It makes no sense. No one's doing anything to you. But you want to go and start trouble because you feel threatened. Oh, at work, this person's doing this, and you feel threatened. I've been here longer, I know more. You feel threatened. Oh, this person all of a sudden want to call my man, you feel threatened. But ain't nothing happening to you. You are, in essence, causing your own problem if you out here acting like this. But then we got this guy playing around in areas he should not be playing in. And he like, oh yeah, I'm a sorcerer, and I have the power to curse, and I have the power to bless. And that's what we got to be very careful from, family, because a lot of us fall into this where we think we're doing things in our own power. God gave you power, but you have no power outside of God. And then we have these people chilling, camping, having a great time. Y'all, I didn't even know Penelope was going to be here. That was by accident. Chilling. Some of us going on vacation. Some of us just having a great time. Look at her. She all cute and everything. She's like, yes. They have no clue that so far a king wants to curse them and a sorcerer might be getting paid to do it. They have no clue. 3 times the fool. This is when it's about to get good, y'all. Y'all ready for this? It's going to be fun. This is what happens. Dude is like, sorcerer dude, right? He's like, all right, God, you really sure you don't want me to go? Are you really sure? And God goes, all right, go. I want to stop here for a minute. How many times do we repetitively go to God for that thing we know we're not supposed to be doing? And God does not give permission, but says, you want to go, go. Ice cream cake last night. How was that heartburn 2 hours later? Let's be real. Let's be real. There you go. This is a real thing. And we keep going back. And we be like, but God, are you sure? But God, there's this. And he says, you know what? It's permissible. And we as Christians confuse permissible with ordained. It may be permissible for you to go, but God did not ordain this. He already said no. And we like to believe that God is wishy-washy. But God said what he said, and he said no. But dude kept coming back because now we got these princes, and now there's money involved, and now I might get paid, so maybe God will change his mind. God did not change his mind, but he said, if you want to go, go. This is what God does. First, we're still in Numbers. But God was very angry when he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into a field. Balaam beat it to get back on the road. Pause. God said no. You kept pushing him. He said, you want to go? Go. He started going. God tried to stop him. The donkey said, hold up. That's an angel. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to get you off this road of danger. And homeboy decides to beat the donkey back over here. How many times we trying to force a situation into place? Well, there's some things I don't like about him, but I'm going to force him to be my man. Well, there's some girls, I kind of like them, but I'm going to force one of them to be my girl. This job ain't exactly it, but I'm going to force it. Because this is what I want. Even though God is saying, release it, let it go, don't go. Even sending a donkey to get you off the road. But you are forcing your life onto that road. With the assumption that God ordained it, which he did not, because he told you no. It's only permissible. But even when he's saying it's permissible, he's going to try to stop you from doing the thing. But you want to keep fighting it. Okay, so then let's see what happens. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path through the vineyards with walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat the donkey again. So again, gets him on this path. They riding, angel come down, donkey says, wait, this is a little bit creepy. I'm going to try to get away from it. And in the process of being saved, his foot gets hurt. And because he's so interested in getting to where he wants to get, he beats the donkey back onto the road. Now, there's two ways I looked at this. I looked at this from Balaam's point of view. You on a donkey, you galloping, the donkey goes like this, your ankle hits the wall, it hurts, I'm mad. This is all very logical. He doesn't stop to think, why? Why do I keep encountering these obstacles? He didn't ask God again. He didn't pray, God, you said that I could go, but now all of a sudden my donkey being crazy, what up with that? He didn't do any of that. Instead, he beat the donkey. He's getting frustrated. He's getting angry. He's trying to get to where he wants to get to. Then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn either left or right. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it laid down under Balaam, and he was angry and beat it with his staff. So now he continued on. Angel is still standing there. There's no way to turn now. We are so far down the road that we no longer can turn back. The donkey goes, no, I'm just going to stay still. Not going to go forward. He beats the donkey to get him up and move him forward. Family, now listen to this. Okay, you guys ready? This is wild. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth. I told you I was about to get wild. And it said to Balaam, what have I done to make you beat me these 3 times? That donkey looked at that man and said, hit me one more again. He said, do it again, see what happens. He's not playing with him. He's mad. He is mad. And he answered the donkey. Do you know how mad you got to be that a donkey talks to you and you answer it back without even considering, why is my donkey talking to me? Do you know how mad you got to be to ignore the miracle in front of your face? That's what emotion does to you. It clouds the miracles happening in front of you. Let me go home and low-key be like, Mother, I do not agree to Kratos. What? What? That's wild. That's wild. And I understand he's a sorcerer and he's probably seen things. But a donkey talking? I don't think he ever seen that. I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and call that cap. handed the donkey back. And this is what he said to the donkey. You have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now. You're talking to a donkey, but the donkey made you look like a fool? I don't think the donkey had to do a whole lot. To me, it kind of seems like he was a fool who got on the donkey. Not that the donkey made a wise man look like a fool. But this is often what we do with ourselves. We think we know better. We go marching down a path. Everybody trying to tell you not to go down there. You keep the donkey swerve, the donkey jump, the donkey get down, donkey spin in circles. And you still trying to go. But you think everybody else is making you look like a fool. You're doing a good enough job on your own. You don't need the donkey to make you look like a fool. But the donkey ain't hearing it anyway. And he goes, am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you? He said, no. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed low and fell face down. It's not until the donkey introduced reason into this situation. And the donkey's like, yo, when have I ever acted like this? That he had to remember, that he had to go back, that he had to realize, you've never done this. Right, so then there must be a reason. And this time when he looks up, he sees the reason is God himself. Trying to keep you from doing the thing he said no to in the beginning. But you want to keep tracking along. You want to ignore all this. Everybody always talk about, I want signs. What people say when they say I want a sign is I want God to say yes to me. That's what they really mean. Because they'll be flashing lights. They'll be like, no, no, no. And you just be like, I need signs. God is already saying no. But because it's not the way you want it to look, because it doesn't feel good, because you may have to turn down worldly treasures, we try to keep going into that opportunity. We're going to talk about a donkey for us to really understand this moment. Donkeys are very communicative. When I went to that zoo, them donkeys was talking. Cute as heck. They are. They're very cute. But they're like, wah, 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 like for nothing. They're very loud, but they're very cute. So I'm not surprised Shrek had the donkey. Because it's very it matches. Here's the thing about donkeys. And we talk a lot about dogs being a man's best friend. But donkeys and horses, to me, are the only animals really willing to let you get on their back and go into war. The dog will kill for you. I've seen dogs protect their owners. But I ain't never seen a dog in armor. But I've seen horses. And donkeys are very hard laborers. They work hard. That donkey is your faithful companion. But they also are a symbolic thing in the Bible. And in the Bible, donkeys are humility, peace, and divine purpose. So let's pause there for a minute. We have a sorcerer who spoke to God. God said, don't go. He then got on the symbol of humility, proceeded to beat the donkey. Gets on the donkey that's supposed to represent peace to go curse a whole people who have done nothing. And they represent divine purpose, and he's trying to make it seem like he's on this donkey to go to this place that God ordained him to go. So what's the point I'm trying to make? If you notice, there are many people who will come in on donkeys looking a lot like they here with divine purpose and love and peace and humility, who are here to cause chaos and wreck things and destroy things. People will come, and listen, I'm talking Christians. I'm not even talking worldly, because keep in mind, this guy said, God is my God. So I am talking about Christians who come in talking about, hey, I come in peace, and I come in love, and I come in humility, but they want to beat animals, they want to curse people, and they say they're about God's business, but they're really about their own business. And it's very easy to get distracted by that. The angel of the Lord asked him, why have you beaten your donkey 3 times? I have come here to oppose you. Can you imagine God being your God and he's here to oppose you? How you go from this is my God to now you're in opposition with God? All because you want to decide your own will and your own fate for some money. I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me 3 times. If it had not turned away, I would certainly have killed you by now. But I would have spared it. Can you imagine God saying, I will strike you down, but keep your dogs. I will strike you down, but your cat will be saved. How your animal more saved than you? Because the animal recognized God. Why we don't recognize God? When your animal gets up, and I've heard, I have had sleep paralysis where my cat chased it away. If you got animals and you see your animals responding and you don't, and you're like, what you see? No, what do you see? Because if your dog or your cat or your chinchilla or your rabbit see it, why can't you? Oh, well, you know, they got spiritual eyes. You're supposed to have spiritual eyes too. Again, I want this to sink in. He became opposition to God. And because he was going to curse a blessed people, he was going to be killed. The Bible did not sugarcoat it. He didn't say, I would stop you. When you become an opposition to God's people, you become the enemy. You are siding with the enemy. And you are no longer allowing God to guide you. So he said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me, because he wasn't looking. Now, if you are displeased, I will go back. Now he in some mess, and he trying to leave. But this I thought was very interesting. The angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but speak only what I tell you. So Balaam went with Balak's officials. Sometimes we get so far deep in our road. Sometimes we want our will done over God so much that there is no way to stop the consequences that are coming your way. And then you want to start, God, why are you punishing me? Because you're on the road of recklessness. God tried to get you back 3 times, but you beat the very people God sent in your life to stop you. Think about how many times you got friends that say, don't go back to that dude. How many times you got friends that go, yo, this woman is toxic. How many times you got people saying, honey, save your money because things are about to happen. You don't know me. Get out of my business. My finances are my finances. Oh my God, why am I broke? I tried to tell you. Sometimes you're too far down and you just gonna have to walk it. And it doesn't mean God left you. But it means now you have to get your own consequences. God does not stop you from consequences. But now what about the people of Israel? Chilling. Chilling. They selling church merch, thinking about what new fun slogans and biblical quotes we're going to put on. We're trying to design it. You see how we got this pose because we all say Focus Fellowship? And yo, I love this picture because Michelle did that little bam. And I was like, she is a model. Israel was modeling, y'all. Trying to tell y'all. All right, so what does all of this mean? I'm going to tell y'all what it means. Number one, your reputation precedes you. Before Israel got there, Moabs knew who they were. And they were known as a people who were huge in number and powerful in might. They were big enough to scare kings. But they also knew Balaam. And he was known as a sorcerer. Now, I want to explain this a little bit. You're either the Israelites, known to be blessed, overtake whatever obstacle that comes your way, known to just be big, a huge force, or you known as somebody who plays around with God. And I'm not talking about new Christianity. New Christianity looks like people who are like, oh, I'm trying God out. I'm trying to see. Pastor talks all the time about give him 45 minutes and try it. I'm talking about the Christians because this is a sorcerer. This is an experienced person in the spirit who wants to be half in, half out. What happens in these situations is that you are not known as the blessed. You are not known as the covered. You are known as somebody of the world. Because this man had the audacity to say, ignore God and let me give you $1. And he knew that would work. So in your family, around your community, what are you known as? Are you known as the saved dude, the saved woman, the person who goes to church, tries to live morally, tries to do what's right? Or are you known as somebody who goes to church on Sundays, but I know I can get when they're at the club on Monday? There is no half-stepping with God. And this is why. Your reputation precedes you. You think you are just sitting in these seats and nobody knows you're here. You don't understand the eyes that are on you. Whether it be people in your family, whether it be people at work, whether it even be people at church. Because I'm telling you right now, there are people that come here that I look up to, that I believe, men and women of God. So you never know whose eyes are on you. You never know who you're inspiring. Now, on the flip side, you never know who's saying, I like her. I like him. But my discernment says, I got to be careful. We got to be careful with that. Because God is going to tell. God will tell you, this person, be careful. Love them. Show grace. Show mercy. This guy knew God. God knew him. God knew him enough to answer his prayer. God was also going to kill him. So we got to be careful. We got to be careful. What else do we know? We have to start seeing things with God's eyes and not our own. And I think that this is an incredibly easy thing to say, but a very hard thing to do. Balak saw with his anxiety. He saw with his emotion. He saw with his fear. He was letting these things rule him. As somebody with anxiety, I can tell you that's what happens. You don't mean it. You don't get up and go, I'm going to worship my craziness today. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. I learned something this week. I learned that there are people who compliment my craziness, can bring me down when I get too hype. But then there's someone in this room that our crazy is matched. And when we go outside, whoo, we are like two crazy tornadoes. We laughing, spending money. We are having a great time. And I called Rachel and I said, Rachel, don't let me go out with Kayla by myself. I'm serious. Y'all laughing. When we came back from the zoo, we looked at each other and we was like, we in trouble. We are in, because our crazy together, whoo, we are wild. Christian wild though, Christian wild. But I say that and it's fun, but something else I also notice is that I can feel when her anxiety is starting to rise. Because the thing in me can see the thing in her. And I got to be careful with that. Because if I'm not careful, the thing in her attaches to the thing in me. Our crazy is way too similar. I believe this with Feed the Block, and I was going to save it for last week, but God said speak it. I have to be careful when I do Feed the Block because we're battling addictions. And I was an addict. I was an alcoholic. So when I go battle those, I got to get armored up in the Lord. Because if I'm not careful, that thing in them comes on to me. And all of a sudden, I'm wondering why I'm having these needs and these thoughts. And why am I all of a sudden thinking? And that's because I'm playing games and I'm half-stepping and I'm trying to exorcise demons. But I myself am the demon. We got to be careful with that. When we go out here to lay hands on people and we go out here to help people, if we ourselves are half-stepping in the Lord, that demon's laughing. He's saying, I know God, I know Jesus, I don't know you, and you hold no power over me. And you're wondering why that weak? Why am I so tired? Why am I so this? Why am I so anxious? Why am I so this? And it's because you're not going to the Lord wholeheartedly before you go out there. It's not a show of faith. We don't go out there to be like, look at us, we battle demons. This is real spiritual warfare. And it's nothing to play with. So we got to be real careful. We got to be careful with the people who say they're Christians, but they're saging their house. We got to be careful of what I call the Christian witches. Because there's no such thing. There is no such thing as Christians who are dabbling in witchcraft. It can't happen. But we have a lot of our youth, especially our youth. Oh, I love the Lord and I believe in God, but I also read tarot cards. Tarot cards. The fortune teller cards. Or they read crystals. Or they're using Ouija boards. You got to be careful with that. I believe in Jesus, but I'm dressing up my kid as a demon for Halloween. You got to be careful with this. This is not something you can half-step. Because what happens is that the more you half-step and you go over here, the bitterness, the anger, the hatred, that's being fed. But if you're only coming on Sundays, you're only getting small portion of Jesus. And before you know it, you look like, you talk like, you act like the world, even though you're going around saying, I'm a Christian. And what you're doing is more harmful to the body of Christ than what you think. Because then the people of the world think this is what Christians look like. They look like hypocrites. They look like liars. They look like people who are going around doing exactly what we're doing, but think that they're better than us. And a Focus Fellowship is sitting here like, yo, why nobody coming to church? Why we ain't getting nobody new? Because there's people who want to come into these seats, who want to go outside and half-step their way throughout their week. You got to be real careful with this, because if you wind up tearing down the body of Christ, the very name that you're calling on is the very name that's going to cut you down. God does not play about his people. And you got to decide if you are his people. So he saw with his anxiety. He saw with his emotion. Now Balaam, who had the opportunity of speaking to Christ, thought with his greed. And that's what happens when you half-step. You can't want the things of the world and want God, because God is not a thing of the world. Does that mean that you can't like money? Of course, I have to have money. How else are Kayla and I going to spend it? I love money. Money's great. But if God tells me to pay my tithes this week, and that means I can't go to K-Pot next week, then that's what I got to do. If God tells me, listen, Jen, you know, she hasn't told anybody, but she hasn't eaten, and I need you to take her out. But I had thought that this money was something else, and I was going to go buy some new shoes. Guess what? Taking Jen out to eat. Money cannot be more important. You cannot worship money and worship God. You cannot. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Why is it always money? Why is it always money? People struggle more with money than like anything else. It's because it's so easy to get and lose in the same moment. How many of you get paid and got no money at the end of the day? Me. Me. That's me. All the time. Already have planned. I haven't been paid next week yet. Already know what I'm buying. Yes, it's real. That's real. But it can't be my God. I can't worship it. It's a temporary thing. But he was willing. He was willing to go against a God that he said was my God for someone else. You know what else this happens a lot with? For women, my ladies, men. We have a very easy time putting men as our God. A lot of us are like, not me. Because I used to be like that. When Martin was still in the cult and I was trying to get out, did I listen to God and go running? Or did I stay in the cult until I knew my husband was safe? How many of us, if our man goes, oh, babe, just stay home today, would stay home? How many of us, because, oh, he has a little cold, okay, I'm going to stay home with him. Oh, he wants to do this. And why is it always on Sunday when they want to do it? He wants to do this. So, you know, going to do it because my man. Your man is never going to draw you away from Christ. If your man is not sitting with you, encouraging you to go, or at least trying to hear what the sermon was about when you get home, he ain't no good. I don't care what else he do for you. Well, he pay all my bills. That's because you greedy. My nails are done. That's nice. My nails are done too. Still went to church. So it's great. It's wonderful. But women, we got to be careful with this. We cannot let our faith or our children become our God. How many, and I have done this, Well, Isaiah is uncomfortable with my Christian music, so I'm not going to play it. Play it louder. Play it louder. Oh, well, my kid is sick. I'm going to try to get on Zoom, but, you know, I have kids. We like to use our kids as examples or our family as examples of why we can't go do the thing that God is telling us to do. I've done it. So we got to be careful with putting other things in God's place. We cannot have one foot in and one foot out. Balaam missed the warnings. He came out of character as a person who knows God, decided to beat on animals. And everybody in here is going to say, well, I ain't never beat on no animal. But how many times have you mistreated a friend? Yelled at somebody who you thought was in your business too much because they wanted to recite some scripture to you or tell you that you're wrong? Everybody want a friend until that friend is honest. Think of that donkey as your friend, your loyal companion, been with you through everything. And the minute that that friend does something that you don't like, said something that you don't like, you lash out. And in the end, because he put himself there, he had to go through with his consequences. And let me tell y'all, spoiler alert, if y'all continue to read this, it get way more serious. Things don't go well. It does not go well with him because he can never make up his mind on whether or not God was his God or money was his God. I encourage you to read it because if you find yourself out of these three people, if you find yourself feeling like you're more in this area, I'm telling you right now, you're in danger. Your soul is in danger. And it's time to come up out of this. And don't let the consequences of your actions make you believe that God is not with you and that God does not love you. Because the same way God put that angel there 3 times, God is coming over and over and over to get you off the path that you put yourself on. You just have to take the minute, stop, and look at what's in front of you. Stop searching for the yes and look for the real answer. Sometimes it's no. Sometimes it's not him. Sometimes it's not the job. Sometimes the answer is no. And then, of course, ignorance is bliss. Oh, no. Go back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Facts. Ignorance is bliss. This whole time. If you're not with the first dude and you're not with sorcerer dude and you in the Israelite place, I'm going to say this to y'all. They had no clue. Imagine one of the miracles of the Bible had nothing to do with an Israelite. They didn't see it, didn't even know it happened. All of this happened behind the backs of the Israelites. So while you're out camping, multiplying, living your life, complaining, not realizing God is saving you from people who are trying to tear you apart. God, oh my God, why don't you let me go over there? Because over there are the people who want to kill you. Oh my God, send me the man, I want him. This man's not ready. Oh my God, I want this woman. This woman is still sick or brokenhearted or still hurt. It's not ready. It's not time. But we want to sit in this place and we want to complain, not realizing there are dangers unknown, unseen, seeking to take you out right now. And God is already there making donkeys talk to save your lives. He is doing huge miracles in order to keep you protected. And I want you to remember, before I go, I want you to remember who the Israelites are. These are the same people that the whole seas opened up and it walked through it. These are the same people, they saw miraculous things, but then complained because they just kept eating bread. And we all read that and we go, that would never be me. but it's always us. Why do I just want something better. I just want more. I want a bigger apartment. I want more things. Meanwhile, God is over here making donkeys talk, keeping curses from being made, willing to kill someone. See, we have a God who not only died for us, but would do anything to protect us. So this week, before you go into complaint mode because it's Monday and you don't want to go to work and you're tired and, oh my God, why do I have to keep working? This is me now. I'm talking about me. Oh my God, the commute from my bed to my table is so long for me to go to work. I'm going to get out of here today and I'm going to be like, I got to work 4 to midnight. Oh my God. Meanwhile, here with no sticks. But this is the way humans are. We get the blessings, we get all happy, we want more. But in our ignorance, we don't know what's happening in the spirit realm. We don't know who's coming to destroy us. So keep in mind this week, what you don't know can hurt you. And our ignorance about what's happening out there is where our peace is. Because if God told us everything that was coming to destroy us, I don't think we could tolerate it. So family, let's worship together for what God has done for us this week and what he's going to be doing for us next week.